Well, what do you think about sex? How do you feel about sex? That's what we're going to talk about for a few minutes. Hi, everybody. This is Geoff Laughton, your RelationshipArchitect.com, and welcome to part 3 of my 5-part series on setting your relationship up for success in 2019. So in the past 2 episodes, I'll call them, that I've done, we've talked about to thine own self be true. Last episode was about exhaustion, and that seems like a good dovetailing in with the topic of sexuality and sex in relationship, because one of the most widely used excuses for why people aren't having sex is because they're exhausted, men and women alike. And there's some truth to that, but to really know whether this is even relevant or something you want to keep listening to me talk about, here's the question. How often are you having sex? Can you even remember the last time you had it? Are you having sex with your partner out of duty? Are you feeling that it's just something you ought to do? Are you faking it? And I'm not just talking about women faking orgasms. I'm talking about men and women alike faking the one thing that I think is a key reason why sex is the thing that distinguishes real, true romantic partnership and love versus just having a friend with benefits, or living in a roommate situation. So this is an even more pointed question. Do you and or your partner feel like you're living in the roommate zone? That can be pretty painful. So what's the problem? I hear a lot of people come to me and talk about sexual issues, sexual problems. And I gotta say, I found that if I had to really break down, are men or women more unhappy and feeling like there's something missing there? In my experience, it's pretty half and half. And I think women look at sex more as a chore if there are foundations in the relationship that aren't solid. So I don't want women watching this to go, well, what a schmuck. I don't look at it as a chore. I'm talking about how sex can devolve in a relationship. Because obviously when we first get together and we decide we're going to be in a relationship, if your experience is anything like mine was, you can't have enough sex. And the connection between the hearts is what makes the connection between the other parts all the richer and all the more fun, right? So when sex goes or it drops to perilous levels, what's really going on? And if that's happening to you, what can you do? Well, here's a few ideas I've got for you. The first is, well, are you bored? How big of a factor is boredom in the way your sex life is going? Well, I heard a great quote from a gentleman the other night that said, well, boredom is just a signal that it's time for you to grow some more. I love that. Totally felt true. So if you're bored in life, you're going to be bored in sex, because it can only go so far, so many times, to give you the brief distraction that it can give you from sheer bodily pleasure. You have to really, if you want great sex, You have to bring you to the party and not just the equipment. So if you're struggling sexually, then it's probably a reflection of where you're disconnected from your own juice about life. So look at where are you flattening out in other parts of your life, and start looking at what it's going to take to revive or reinvent, to start again with getting on track to actually enjoying life. What is it that you've fallen into a rut about that then also gets into sex, so that you can be with your partner and one or both of you is kind of figuratively in your mind looking at your watch going, okay, now it's the time for the right boob or the left testicle or whatever it's going to be. And sex can be a lot more fun than that. So boredom, that's number one. Are you bored? Number two, whether you're bored or not, how much are you and your partner talking? How much do you like, well, we should have sex? Or you get horny and you decide to do it and it's all good, but it's the thing you fit into an already overly full life. That's the exhaustion part. And where did it start going down, pardon the pun, as a priority? You need to be talking with each other about that. And it's amazing how even people who have been together for a long time, they can get bashful. You know, when you think of some of the things that we do sexually, that we struggle with talking about it, well, that's about our relationship to intimacy. And that's another thing that you would want to address to have a shift in reinvigorating your sex life. You're not being emotionally intimate. You're not being mentally intimate with your partner, which odds are means you're not being intimate with yourself. You're bullshitting yourself, you're in denial about something, or you're just trying to not look at something that you know to be true. So if you want to have a change, you've got to change how you think, you've got to change what your patterns are, and one thing that really helps that is just take the risk of getting really raw and real with your partner and letting them know what it is, or yeah, actually even better yet, rather than let them know anything, ask, how are you feeling about our sex life? How are you feeling about our connection? Do you feel I'm connecting with you enough here? Do you feel like we're just roommates? One of you is going to have to really talk about the elephant in the middle of the room if you have one. And if you're not having much or any sex, there is an elephant in the middle of the room. Let me make that really clear. There is an elephant in the room. So the third thing that can be involved is that you're really holding back on what it is that you want to try. You've fallen into your own rut and he or her theirs. And you got to really look and see what would be a thing that could make an exciting difference. And that, you know, I've been married for 37 years, and you got to reinvent stuff, and sex is no exception. So really look at what it is that you're shy about and share it. Start again. When you've been with somebody for a while, you kind of know what they like, you know what they like to do. So what can you do to spice it up? Well, ask each other questions that might be kind of scary or a little bit embarrassing to ask. And if you'd like some, because I have a list of questions just about sex, that if you want to get emotionally intimate again, if you've kind of drifted apart or you've let life take that over, you've made all the, flurry of stuff that life throws at us every day, and you've made surviving that more important than having this connection and that connection be strong, then you've got to readjust. You're forgetting what can be the source of things. So if you'd like some questions to just break the ice and maybe have you go, oh my God, well, I got a list for you. So if you'd like them, you can either comment below if you are on Facebook, which of course you're probably not going to do that, because how many of us really want to blast our sex life all over the internet? So let me do it a different way. If you'd like a list of those questions, email me at Geoff, Geoff, at yourrelationshiparchitect.com. And I will send them right off to you. And use them. Read them. And if they make you cringe or blush or they make you afraid, this is exactly the thing to be doing with your partner. It might be weird. It's probably going to bring stuff up. But if it does, and again, no pun intended, but whatever it might surface that could get pretty challenging or awkward, how's it working for you to have it all be under wraps? If it's not helping your sex life or your heart life, you got to bring that shit up. There's just no way around it. Or you'll get more of what you've already got. So if you'd like that list, email me at Geoff, Geoff, again, at yourrelationshiparchitect.com, and I'll send it to you completely. Obviously, if it's just you and me, it'll be anonymous. But if you've been watching this and you have comments or you have questions, and if you're not afraid to put those, where other people can see them, then do that, or email me those too. Okay. I will be back next Tuesday, which the math says will be the 29th of January. And we'll see where we go next. 2 more parts left. And if you want to learn more about how I might be able to help you and your partner with this issue and other issues, then go to yourrelationship-architect.com/relationship-possibilities. Okay, everybody. One last parting tip. If things are a little too infrequent in the sex department, well, then maybe it's time for one of you to just decide to make it happen. And, sex is a use it or lose it thing, but I've had periods where it's been a bit fallow, and once you get back in, it all kind of comes back to you, and you can relight it. So sometimes it's better to not talk about it. Just do it. Okay. Have a great day or evening wherever you are. See you next time. Bye-bye.